is comparable to what we may get caught into with the creations. When you say Allah is alone is what He is. The word alone can make a man think alone is how will He do all these things. So you have to negate Allah from the attributes of the alone, what the creations will have. We'll affirm Allah is alone and negate what? The similarity of the aloneness, what others might carry. He is unique in the attribute of alone. So creations, when they are alone, they need a support. And when it is told to the creation they are alone, it's not a praise. It's a weak point. He is alone. But when Allah is said alone here, it is a praise. He is the mighty. He is the vice versa. And also when it is Allahu Samad, which clears this, He is not in need of any support. So it was the creation when they were alone, they needed support. But when this Lord is alone, He needs not support. So it gives a clear picture, His aloneliness is a great pride, a great mighty, great ability. That's why He does not need a support. Which is a clear definition even for a kafir, when it says, when you're going to say to a kafir, our God is one. For a kafir, he may think, one God, how to do all these things? That answers. Allahu Samad, He is not needed of any support. The God's attribute is that He is alone and He doesn't need any support. To the limit of what He does not support, that He is no born, He will be giving birth. That means to the support which humans, first support do what we get from our parents. First support we give is to our children. This is the support you can assume. So he is negating it very clearly. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. No, he is born, no, he will give birth. He gives clear picture to a kafir to know what this God could be. This God is alone and He needs not support. No more He is born, neither He will give birth. That means there is nothing going to be similar to Him next. And another refutation which can assume in head, is He only like that? Yes, walam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. There is nothing similar to Him also. This is all giving the perfection on the samadiyah and ahadiyah. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. It's a better perfection and a clarification to the human brain to understand how great Samad He is. How much He is not in need of support. And lam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. There is nothing similar to Him. It's a more great explanation to us to the ahad. Alone. There's nothing similar to Him. So this is what we define Allah is. Someone asks you, who is Allah? What is this Allah? This is the answer to it. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. Is he a Muslim or Kafir? The answer is very crystal clear. For Arabs, when they asked, this was given, they kept shut. They realized there's nothing to talk. Because they knew Arabic. Then they asked, who is this Allah? What was the answer? قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. Today in the world, people are trying to introduce Islam to the kuffar. Can they use this surah? Are they ready to use the missionaries so-called? The comparative religious professionals, professors so-called, are they able to use this surah to tell the kuffar, this is Allah? They can't. Why they can't? Because they didn't understand it. They say in Arabic, فَاقِدُ الشَّيْء لَا يُؤْتِي. Man who doesn't own, he can't give to others. His pocket is empty. How can he give charity? First you have to fill your pocket to give charity. So you are empty. How can you give charity? So the first thing is, you should know the knowledge. So knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only will make me to tell others who Allah is. And again, not that. Knowing Allah from the Quran and telling Allah from our head, it's not belief. It is shirk. For Allah, how much ever you know from the Quran and Sunnah, you can't decide from your brain. You have to decide from the text. If you can assume Allah from your head, you have reached into the secrets of the God. If a slave can reach the secret of a God, that won't be a slave. Be better than the God. That's why we differentiate between Islam and Kufr. All the Kuffar, they talk about the secret of their gods. We ask them, if you are to be able to tell the secret of your God who is mud and who is wood, you are trying to tell them, this is my God and the secret of it, think that mud and that wood doesn't know. You are better master than your God. Why worshipping it? We are repeating the same mistake. Why? Philosophers, they were trying to find out who the God could be. Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, they want the full struggle of finding out who a God could be, what the nature behind it is, who created this nature, all these troubles are behind them. We tell them, if your brain can reach to the limit of understanding the secret of a God, you deserve to be the God. For you have reached to the position more than what the God is. What God hid you so. So you're bigger than God. You have frozen his power and get into it. If anyone claims that I know the secret of God, then the first kufr he can commit. The first kufr he can commit is trying to know the secret of a God. We believe in Allah how? By the way he said it, not by the way we assume. Our brains, if it is going to end up assuming Allah, it is what I assumed. It's not the true Allah. Whatever I assumed in my brain, can that be Allah? Never. Just because I was good in Arabic, those things I can't assume Allah. But I have to believe in Allah. Allah said these names and attributes, we believe them, we understand them. We do not deny the meanings. But who is Allah? Allah is what he said about him. قُلْ وَاللَّهُ أَحَدْ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدْ لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. Say, O Muhammad, Allah is alone. Allah is Samad. Allah is not in need of anyone. No help. لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ. He was no born, neither will he give birth. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. There is none similar to him. This is the definition. See how perfectly Allah used it. He explained his aloneliness and the perfection of him being alone. For creation, when it is alone, it's a degrade. It's a weak point. He needs support. But here he said he's alone, and it's becoming a might praise to him. When he said, say, O Muhammad, Allah is alone. But he followed with it, Allahu Samad. He's not needed support. So that explains to us, this aloneness of Allah is again unique to him. Not like creation when they are alone, they are at a weak point. But when Allah is alone, and he is alone, that is not to be similarized with the creation. Again runs to the same fundamental of there is nothing similar to him. He is the most sharing and the most saying the fundamentals of al-ithbat wa nafi, affirmation and negation. We affirm all of Allah's names and attributes is what in the Quran Sunnah, and we negate the similarity to the creation. When we say Allah is alone, we affirm the aloneness to Allah, and we negate what? The similarity of loneliness what others could have. We negate that to Allah. Others, when they have the loneliness, it's a weak point. They're alone. They need a help. They need a support. This is negated in the loneliness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You affirm Allah is alone. Now, and then others says, Allah is Samad. He's not need of support. Now, if he is not need of support and is alone, that shows the perfection, how his attributes and names are not similar to the creation's facts. The word may be same, but the facts are not same. So when the facts are not same, can we assume? We can't assume. We need to believe. Sami'na wa ata'na. We hear it and we follow it. If only the facts could be reached, we can assume. The facts, يَلِيقُ بِجَلَالِهِ, he is to the might of his mightiness. Can we design his mightiness? Can we reach to assume his mightiness? It is impossible. So a thing which is impossible, you can't do it, you can't ever do it. So assuming Allah from the head, always assuming a God of your own desire. You are not to take Allah rationally or logically or in assumptions. You have to take Allah on the text of Quran and Sunnah. That's why Allah clearly says, to clear his samadiyah of the thing that is not need of support, how great in that is. Why does he talk about he is not given birth, neither he will give birth, because this is what the creation said. Support means the first support we have is from our small age, we were supported by our parents. The first support we are going to give to whom? To our children. So this now, he is no born. That means he was never ever supported. Never ever he was supported. Not that only today. He is never ever supported because he was never born. The attribute of need of support was not for him. And neither will he give birth. And he is not like the creations who need this support later also. No. No ever he was supported, no later he is in need of support. Uniqueness of his quality of not need of any support is mentioned. And then, لَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. There is nothing similar to him. He is alone, there is nothing another alone. His loneliness only is him again. There is no another alone like him. Realizing this, we understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's names and attributes help to carry this fundamental in all of other Quranic verses and hadith. What is that? There is nothing similar to him. This is the nafi wal ithbat. Affirmation to all what is available in the Quran and Sunnah and negating the similarity. Ithbatun bila tashbih wa tanzihun bila ta'til. Affirmation without similarity. Negation without denying the fact of the attributes. When we affirm Allah's names and attributes, we never ever think to similarize it with the creation. Those names should be given its true meanings and believe Allah has those attributes. وَتَنْزِيهُمْ بِلَا تَعْتِيلٍ. When we go to negate, we negate what? The similarity, not the fact of the attribute. So it is where we say